Let me start to introduce who is telling us now the truth about what they did. First, Flaschenpost, probably you know Flaschenpost. They are active on the Swiss market for more than 11 years now. They are the biggest online wine dealer. It sounds like 25K of wines. Just a little thing for the end of the show. One of the wines they will offer you at the end. I would say it's kind of a bestseller, but easy for you to select probably. Flaschenpost serves mainly the B2C market. They have something like 30 employees, half of them being active in the logistics. And they have a team in Serbia and Belgrade, including a data scientist. And Johannes started, he told me 8 years ago, as a driver of Flaschenpost and took over the management of the logistics. And since years he is in marketing and he's the marketing director of Flaschenpost. He holds a Master of Science in Geography and Economy, and he's building the nearshoring team in Belgrade. Then PerfectHair, probably you know PerfectHair also very well. It's a B2C company. I would say the leading company. It's about prestige and luxury hair care products. And they are the biggest player with something like 15K products and over 250 brands. And Moritz has initially had a 3 years experience in all that hotel booking engine for Switzerland's tourism, something I only learned in the preparation of this afternoon with him. He's working for PerfectHair as a head of marketing now for 8 years, and he said he loves e-commerce, innovations, and e-piano. So the last part will not be part of this afternoon. I'm very happy that we can have an interesting discussion all together. Maybe let me show you the way we look at things. When you speak about a new topic like data science or AI, whatever it is, in the details, then obviously if I have a managed perspective, I would understand what are the goals, how can I measure it, what does it mean for my organization, do I need to restructure kind of, what does it mean for my processes, for my activities, for the people, do I need new skills, do I need new tools, new infrastructure, what is really happening? That's more or less the, let's say, the scope of the topics. But more concretely, when we spoke about this often, what would be interesting for you as an audience, he said, okay, maybe some words about data science in general as a starting point. Maybe but also an important question about management reporting. Everyone needs to report probably to the management. Then questions which are more interesting, I would say, for the company. What is the customer lifetime value and how can I improve these KPIs, these very important KPIs using data science? Segmentation questions for marketing people, very important to understand. Customer journey analytics, we will repeat this message that we always think in customer journeys. And marketing in general, what does it mean? Content marketing especially, when I spend efforts to write interesting articles, then I would like to know the effect on them. Then the channel performance, important to understand what you do there. Then the question of budget allocation. We agreed that we will not speak about this afternoon. It's a sensitive topic, obviously. Automation, there are different kinds of automation for the data processing, for the automation of the insights you have on, so it's quite a broad field. Fraud protection could be a topic. Can I use the behavior I see within people and data science to learn who is about to do something I don't like in my environment? And obviously, I can use all these techniques to competitor analysis, something we'll also speak about this afternoon. So I would like to start now with my main contributors for this part of the afternoon. And I would like to start with Johannes, because when we spoke together, I asked what is your expectation, because you started quite early compared to others, to really also engage your own data scientists. So what is your overall expectation, your motivation to do that as fast as you do that?
So we basically, we started, as Michael already introduced, as a company who's selling online wine. And over the past 11 years, we were building up competencies in logistics and marketing and product management and sourcing of the wines. And we started to understand our customers. But we soon realized that we are somehow limited in the way of how we analyze the data that we have. and we had problems that through different marketing channels, we're using different tools, and they all do reportings on their own. They report maybe the same KPI, but they do it differently because they have different tracking systems. So that leads to an ecosystem of really distributed parts where our data is stored, and this makes it really not easy and complicated to analyze the data. So one of our main goals with data science is that we want to have a place where everything is stored so that we can connect the different data sources and do the analysis throughout our marketing channels. And then the second part is what's already been said is kind of reportings that we're doing. So we're quite limited in the way with the tool stack that we have, so Excel, Google Analytics. You can do stuff there, but it's not that we can really answer the question about how to develop our customers, how to analyze their journey, what did they see. So that's like the second part, deliver solutions to our questions that we have. And the last part, which is already as important as the first two, is to create an environment and to change a bit the culture of the company so that the data scientists and the team that we're building up is not only answering questions from the management side, but also is analyzing the data and discovering opportunities and pushing us to do stuff that we would not have been able to do before. So we look at this data science part as these divided in these three pillars.
Yeah, thank you very much. Because one thing you said reminds me to something you mentioned, Moritz. You said in a quite a nice way that if you would take all the revenues the different dashboard shows, then you would have 3 times the revenue you really have. So I would consider that you have can't see a lot of questions to answer, right?
That's right. So you probably all know the problem when you have different systems, like for example an affiliate marketing system, then you have Google Analytics or social media, and you take the numbers of each of them and put them together. It's like Michael said, you don't have your realistic turnover. You have like this twice the value of that, or even 3 times more than that, and that's a huge problem. So we collected a lot of data, and this was originally our motivation to do more in this area, to dive in that data, to understand them better, to understand especially our clients much better. Because as I said, when you put the systems together and you have this big quiz of numbers, and you have the question, which of them tells you the truth? Is social media telling you the truth? And probably every of these systems is telling you kind of the truth, but you have to know how to put the numbers together. So, as you said, Johannes, it's really important to have a centralized view on that and to put those data together to really understand what channel did work well and how do you make decisions to go on based on that information you get out of these data. So that was one of our main motivations to really go deeper into this data, to understand our customers better and to have a really good basis to take important decisions.
Thank you very much. For me, it's very important to understand this logic of what type of truths is the data telling to you. Because when I ask Silam, how precise are you with our measurements, or it's in percentages or small fractions percentage, whatever, then I hear something about 3 times the revenue, then it's really a question what data you want to look at, what data do you trust also for your management decisions. And something you said, Johannes, is that this regular Excel reporting you do is also something which is kind of painful, but maybe you can explain it a little bit better what that means and what the limitations are, or what the hopes connected to it.
Yeah, with the Excel reporting, it's like first of all you're limited in the amount of data that you can handle with it. Then you need really good Excel skills to do just not the normal reportings. And then even if you manage to do that, it's really time consuming when you want to change something. It takes a lot of time to do that, and it's basically in the past, from our experience, it was always the case that we have a very clear idea of what we want to see in the Excel, which graphs, how are the axes called, which data do we want to show there, and at the time that we created these graphs and we were looking at them, we realized that we don't need half of that, but we need something else. And the business was changing, and you look at the graphs and you see new questions arise, and in order to answer that, you need to do other reportings, and then you're really going into a really static approach of how to visualize and look at your data, which is not helpful in any way. So that leads me back to the first part of what I said. What we are lacking of is that place where all the data is stored, and that other system, which was presented as a data studio, to visualize that in a dynamic way, so that everyone who needs to have access to that can simply click a report and look at it.
There's one thing we always see when people are doing Excel-based reporting, let's say in a monthly or a weekly basis, doesn't matter. Then you have a meeting, what you said, and you realize you need some different kind of information or numbers. And maybe you start to change your Excels, but you will never rerun with the new set of KPIs what you did in the past. And this type of technologies you have seen, what I showed you, you can change things and rerun for each and every period you want. So every new insight, what type of numbers are helping you, can be easily applied to already what you did in the past. I think that's a quite powerful change, not only in terms of having less risks that things are wrong or less efforts to do that, but also to say, okay, we learned as an organization what is important, and we can rerun that. And what is your idea, Moritz, about, let's say, this application, this new way of doing reports? What could you imagine for you that this could change?
Well, a lot, as we have seen. When you see this, you know why we are doing data analysis like that. I mean, it's insane. The possibilities are huge, and you can do that much that you don't know where to start in the beginning. So, but as Johannes said, when you have your analytics and your Excel files, these are really limited. So, for example, we have an overview of channel. We see, okay, the different channel works. Maybe Google works well, or in social media not so well, but that's it. We can go a little deeper, but not very far. And you're limited in that way. And you have to find other solutions. And as Sylvain showed, there's great possibilities. And especially for me as a marketing guy, we collected data for so long. We had a barrel full of data, but we couldn't use it intelligent. So I love numbers, but that much of numbers in a barrel, well, it's definitely too much, and I'm more the visual guy, so I love the possibility we are having now with Data Studio to go much more deeper into this data and seeing how the customer really acts on a web page to get this better understanding and to serve that wishes of the client.
Thanks, Moritz. One thing I would like to move a little more forward is in the direction of customer lifetime value. Because for me, customer lifetime value is extremely important and interesting matrix. And what do you think you can do there in that regards with all these new, let's say, possibilities?
Well, it's always difficult to get a customer back for a second purchase. And this is a huge challenge. I think everyone knows. To get a customer first on the web page, it's the one thing, but then you want to keep them there. So how do you do that, and how do you understand what makes the difference between a one-time buyer and a second-time buyer? What is exactly the difference? And I think no one can answer this question right away. So data allows you to have a deeper look in that and get an idea of what could be the difference. So it's a big chance to understand better what could lead a buyer to a second purchase.
I think quite the same challenge that you are in, Johannes, right?
Yes, I think that's really common if you look at online shops, or especially to bind your customers to your business, and there's huge potential in our business to develop the customers from the first time to the second time they buy. And what we did so far is we were just simply sending them surveys, and we were asking people, why don't you buy a second time? You have bought 9 months ago, why don't you do it now? And we got lots of answers, but lots of answers that weren't really helpful. So basically people were just saying that I have my cellar full of wines because I was in the Tuscany, or my neighbor is actually, he owns a vineyard, so I'm drinking now the wines from him. So it's really like, it's not, of course there are lots of people who do not respond to that and might have some answers to that, but we got, with all these surveys, we had quite significantly large amount of people who were responding to that, but not really delivering answers that we can use. And as we don't have really obvious problems in customer service or somewhere else on the website, we need to dig a bit deeper and really understand in detail why customers are buying once, why customers are buying twice, and the key to that is playing in the behavior of what they do. We need to compare their journeys through all our channels and to see what they were looking at. For example, there are products that are only bought in combination with other products, but most of the time they're not bought alone. So all these kind of insights that are there that we just need to unlock, and that's why I see that there's a huge potential for us with data science and the tools that we present to discover the opportunity to develop these people from first to second and third and fourth purchases.
And I think even most of the time people don't even know themselves why they don't buy a second time. So we think you bought the shampoo, it must be empty somewhere, and we know it's empty, but why don't you come back and buy it again? And there's so many different reasons, and I think that's the great thing about data, that data can know better than the client itself, and I think that makes a huge difference to analyze that, because maybe the customer is on your site again, but he doesn't make or finish the purchase. How do you manage it to reach that second purchase?
One thing I would like to add is obviously the one question, how can I make people buy more often? For me, also depends on the question, do I have the right clients? Is if I attract by whatever type of measures the wrong clients, it might be a hard question to answer, can I make them buy again, and again, and again, and again? This analysis, that's something I hope that Silvan with his team can enlighten us quite a bit in the future. This cohort analysis, whatever type of mechanics, to see what is a model of a good client. It could include the question, is he referring others to me? Is he repeating his purchases? What is he really doing? And modeling what a good client is, and then to find them and to cohort analyze, to understand better what are the right clients, should hopefully simplify the questions, how to motivate them to purchase much more. You see, the starting point is probably I have a number of clients, but I don't know really which ones are the good ones, or how could I define that first. One thing I would like to ask Moritz, because they have a quite special situation with their content marketing. They're doing a really very good job there, and I think content is extremely important. What is your expectation that this data science can do in that regards of your content marketing activities?
Thank you for that question. That's a very good question. Thank you. So yes, we have a strong focus on content marketing, and in the beginning you have like the feeling, oh yeah, somebody's reading it, great. And when you have a lot of content, it really pays off, because you can gain other readers of your magazine. In our case, we have an online magazine, and we really go in that and try to evaluate the value of our readers of the magazine. And there we see, great, we have readers, we can reach people we maybe wouldn't reach without the content. They search for example, how do I do curls? And then we have a video or text showing them how to do the nice curls. And maybe they come 10 times and read something, but then we have to go to convert them. And for that we have to know how can we convert it. And when we see he's interested in always like kind of the same type of content, then we can go and try to address this user by email or other channels and to get him back to read something, and then of course do recommendations on that basis of data we collected, and then hopefully convert them to a buyer. So content has a big value for us, that's true. And
that's a little bit different, I think, for you, Johannes, right? Or how you would say that it matches also your situation, what Moritz describes?
Well, we have huge potential in content, and we're not that good at the moment when it comes to that, which is also something we want to invest more time in the future. But we were more focusing so far on do people find the wine they are looking for. So we were spending lots of time in investing, we're spending lots of time in optimizing the search, for example, optimizing our recommendations. We built that wine finder, which was shown before, that example, so where you give some input and then it tells you which wine you might like based on the type of inputs you gave. For example, I like this and that grape, I like wines from Austria or from Spain or whatever, so we were focusing more on that part. But on the future, it's clear that we need to deliver a bit more content to all of the wines also, so we plan to go in that direction as well. Because I think that the field of wine offers endless opportunities of making people emotionally discover new wine regions, new wine grapes, new producers, etc.
Great, thanks. Now, as I would like to make it a little more interactive. I will give you in a minute the chance to point on the aspects you want to hear more about. It's only one thing, because last week I went to PerfectHair to cut my hair. I learned about a new application. I didn't tell you so far, but the lady there was really doing a great job, offered me a shampoo, and I took it, the bottle, and she said, "Oh, that's not available online." No. And I took a picture, and then she started to complain that all the people taking pictures, instead of buying it online at her place and buying stuff online, and then this is not counted to her revenue. And then I told her, no problem, it's the big data. We have all the data, they know that it's me who went there. So if I buy this product now online, they can join that and reward hopefully your good people in the store. Hopefully. She's waiting for it, yeah. Great. Now, who would like to ask specific questions to those two people, why they started there, what they are doing, their experiences? Any questions already?
I would be interested in the setup, because Silvan, you said that in the Boxolino BigQuery setup there is no data engineer needed anymore. I'm curious if that's true, because I know a little bit your setup, because it's more or less the same we have. There's an ERP system somewhere. So did you manage to include the data from the ERP system into that BigQuery account as well, or do you focus on your shop software system and Google Analytics and the Boxolino export out of that shop system?
Maybe I just give the first answer and then you can complement. So what's important is that what we provide automatically with our process in BigQuery is the big five. So all of the transaction information, all of the product information, all of the customer information, all of the online behavior, including what people have seen, and all of the content marketing data. So all of these 5 are part of the data that we feed. And for the transactions, we already are, in the case of Flaschenpost, merging the ERP export with the Magento export together as part of our role.
Okay, because I mean, yes, the big 5, but I mean, there's something going on in the ERP which can
Sure,
differ from
absolutely.
transactions in your shop
The
system.
idea is that you have, because what's difficult in data engineering is also to connect data together.
Yeah.
So the idea is that we provide the seed and the pre-connected seed between all of these 5. Then you can create extra tables to enrich this data with data which are only available, but then you can refer to a ERP ID to make the connection without caring about how this is linked to what I have seen yesterday on that page. This is part of this big 5 seed, but you're completely right. We only provide a certain extent in each of these 5 directions, and then you can complement it with others. And there's of course more than 5. You can also load other type of data. But please, you can complement what you, the way you look at it from the ERP, of course.
Yes, we have a very strong collaboration with Buxalino, for years already, and our system is totally connected to the system of Buxalino, so they got all of the data we provide to Buxalino, and like this. From there, it goes further to all the systems, and then we can, based on these systems, we can do the analysis and I mean, there's different things we do with Buxalino, for example, recommendations or the search, and many more. And for each of them, we can go and we can have a look at the strategies, do A/B testings, and we spoke about, like, we have kind of a treasure chest we are filling up with each A/B test we do. We are giving new ideas of how customers work and think, and then we can go in, dive into the strategies and optimize them further and further on. So that's one of the main parts we have with Buxalino, so analyzing the data and have a look at them and optimize the strategies. Not only for articles, I mean, that's obvious. We can do product recommendations based on the data we have to an individualized customer, but also for the content. That's the second part, and it works absolutely the same. Like in an article recommendations, you can recommend a blog article to a user. May this be in an email, or may this be on the website, or wherever.
I think it's very important that your client online doesn't really matter if he considers to be a product information, content, or whatever. It should be an experience he has, which really matches as perfect as possible his needs. So if it's helpful, let's say, to show to people who just got aware of your shop, maybe some trust-building symbols, but other people who are quite frequent customers, maybe want to use this space differently. That's why we have this segmentation model for the customer journeys, to understand this different type of clients. We call it 4 + 1 = 4, which means 4 levels of not yet clients, and 4 levels of existing clients, and this +1 are the inactive ones, because we realize that many of our customers unfortunately have a huge set of inactive clients, for whatever reason. And then you can very dynamically say what is the right thing to place, and exactly do this experimentation, which is on pure data information driven, insight driven. And maybe you can say, if you have a new client, that a testimonial of someone who is close in that region is the best thing to convince this person to do a first purchase. But then you need a different strategy to create a second purchase. And all these elements can freely be mixed. So when we speak about recommendations, it's not at all about products only, it's really about what you said, Moritz, about these content pieces from a blog, for example, but also user-generated content. And you could even include, let's say, weather information in the Google BigQuery and see if there are elements which go together with the weather. So it's an extremely open and flexible environment. That's what we really love. It's not only your own data, but you can also use external data. or you could even buy some external connectors and put Facebook data into it. So it's an open playground. That's really what I think is that exciting. In this setting, it makes it possible, and that's what you also showed in the video. You can integrate data from all the sources you want in one report and start analyzing two things. And that is really a fantastic power. Other questions, please?
Do you already integrate apps information? If we have a native app for a shop, do you support that already?
Absolutely, yeah. You have an API, that's maybe a more technical thing you can integrate with. You have SDKs, you have plugins for shops, but you can use the API to directly also drive the content in the app, but also learn what people really do. Exactly the same thing, what did they see, how did they react? So you can do that in any, let's say software, might be an app, you could even integrate that in an IoT or in call center software. It's really possible everywhere. Yeah. Other questions? Because then I have some topics I love to speak about, if okay for you. One I already mentioned, it's the question of automation. Because I know that this is a topic for both of you. One which we did not speak about at all in the preparation is you have many suppliers with quite different, let's say, form of providing all the text of your lines. And one part which is automated is to try to extract if there are marker points or whatever type of, let's say, quality things in the text which are hidden. It would be fantastically useful in the guidance of people if you would have the structured data. So this is one piece of automation. I have to say data science can do a good job because it really removes handwork you would not do otherwise probably. But what other types of automation scenarios do you have in mind?
Well, sometimes when we found out how to treat our clients better, we have the findings, maybe we have the understandings about it, but we lack the connection to our eShop to execute our findings. So we were with Boxalino, what we were doing in the past and what is now fueled or will be fueled by the data in Google BigQuery is that this execution of the different strategies and the adjustments in the content, and for example the wines we are showing in our newsletters, all this was not possible to that extent as it will be in the future when we have all the data at the same place. So this is something that we will start doing as soon as we have everything set up and ready in terms of automation, and that's also where we see the biggest potential, because when you talk about the data science topic and when you talk about all these things that are written on the slide, you will very soon get lost if you don't put your focus on one or two or three things that your organization is capable of doing, because these tools are huge and they offer endless possibilities, but in the end you still have to decide what's relevant to your business and what do you want to focus on, because in the end you're doing everything and nothing at the same time, and then you're at the same place as you were before. So although it's offering lots of possibilities, you still have to have a business perspective on it and decide what you want to focus on, and then do that with 100% pressure.
And what I understood is that it was really a management decision, a strategic decision, that you want to go in that direction, right?
Yes, we have for many years now noticed that we're really good at doing our core business, meaning selling wines online, but we have also realized that we have lots of potential or maybe some kind of issues when it comes to IT resources, IT know-how, and connected with that also data science know-how. So we consider ourselves as data-driven, but only to the point of how it's possible to do with the current tools and setups that we have. And in order to be successful in the long term and to be more successful as our competitors, we made that decision that we want to transform our company from a classical online wine retailer to a more data-driven, technical-oriented company. And that's why we also started building up the data science team in Serbia, and also making sure that we have the right IT resources to then execute the experiments that were coming out of the findings from the data science people.
Thank you very much. Moritz, anything to add there?
That's exactly the point. I mean, it's called automation, but you have to bring a huge effort that the automation is doing what you'd like to automate. So you really need time. And then the other part you mentioned, when you have the data and you analyze them, then there is suddenly a big need of IT capacity to fulfill them. So if you hire a data analyst, don't forget to invest in your IT as well, because then you have big knowledge, but you can't transmit them to your website. So that's a very important point.
That's why I would like to add just these few elements data science can help you directly, because I see that some stuff needs and requires IT resources, which you know are hard to get. And another thing, because you are the first company, I'm allowed to say that, who created a predictive model with data scientists and exported this in a standard format, which is called PML. We imported that in our platform, and every client which is online on Flaschenpost is served a little bit better thanks to this predictive model which was implemented there. This is also kind of an automation I think is quite impressive, that this is possible for companies of that size. So it's not only UBS, Nestlé or whatever, but has to be something which is there for all of us in the meantime. And that's also part of the automation. These insights, to win insights is great, but then you need a good management decision or whatever on whatever level. But if you have insights which are directly actionable, I have to say that it's a fantastic sample for automation. And even there you have the chance to bypass the IT, because there you don't need them. Predictive model is there and can do a good job. But you need creative people who can really do something meaningful with this predictive model, and it's not the IT people anymore. So that's why we see also a shift in who is doing what. So integrate all these possibilities, this data science really means to rethink the organizational structure. Now, one last one from my side I would love to address is this question of customer journey analytics in the middle. We did not formally define what that means, but Silva showed that this analysis of a click stream and then this close to impossible way to look at it brings the topic on the table: how can I really analyze what people are doing? What are the models behind which are helping to a better job? And I wonder what you think about customer journey analytics, what your expectations are there.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, Google Analytics is really limited in this area. And especially when it comes to that point, if someone buys or not, then I think it's really important to address this message better and in an individualized way to the customer. So, for example, Google Analytics is providing us, or the numbers of our shop is providing us a segment. We are addressing a segment for marketing, for example, women from 40 to 50. That was so far, but women 40 to 50, it might be every woman, and they act quite different. So with data, you can get deeper insights and make a better segmentation in a way. And then when you address people in a more individualized way, for example, we know that we have customers, they are pretty interested in only one brand. We have 250 brands, but they're just buying one. So we have definitely to address this buyer differently than another one, and we can just send them some news of another brand because they are just not interested in it. So the customer journey can definitely be optimized when you implement this knowledge already in the communication, and then bring the same recommendations or which makes sense to this customer, also on the web page to convert them definitely better.
It's the same. We have customers who are buying the same wine 4 or 5 times a year. They do always this, and we send them magazines, we send them newsletters, we send them new stuff. We even present them better wines, but they still stick to that one wine. And when we send them vouchers in our magazine, they just wait for that voucher to be delivered to them, and then they use that and buy the same thing again. And that's of course no problem with that, because they spend their money at our shop, which is cool. But they need to be addressed differently than other people who are not really focused on just one wine, but just they want to have a wine experience, let's say it like this. They don't really care where the grape is coming from, how it tastes. They have just some idea about how many money they want to spend for the wine. Then the design of the bottle should be okay, and that's it basically.
Like me.
And then they're also, and this is actually one of the largest groups of customers that we have. So they're not really well educated about wine, and they don't really care. It's just that the wine bottle has to look nice and it has to taste well, and it must be affordable, and that's it. And then there are the others who are really the wine fans, and they're really into that. They know a lot of stuff about grapes, about countries, about what they like. So they exactly find their wine at our shop, and then they buy it. So the thing is that these customers are really different in their behaviors, and at the moment we're sadly not treating them well enough directly. So we're not directing our communication to their needs, or we could do better. And that's our point, that we have to improve in terms of customer journey analysis.
Great, thank you very much. Now we have a few minutes left. Any questions to those guys?
Something about customer lifetime value, please. No insights, I know. I'm a Flaschenpost customer. I always buy champagne, so I'm very interested of my customer lifetime value.
Well, at first it depends upon how you define really customer lifetime value, because every time you buy something, when you say that the customer lifetime value is the expected money that you will spend through your lifetime at our shop, and every time you buy something, that value rises, obviously, which is not really easy to interpret, because maybe you buy once per year, but you do it regularly, then that's great, and you spend the money that you want to spend, you spend it at our shop, but it's just only once. Then that's cool, and there are other customers that buy more frequently, but whenever they buy, they do it also at our shop. So I think it's a bit, the question is a bit difficult to answer, because it depends upon what you want to see and what you want to find out with that metric. So of course everyone wants to have a large customer lifetime value, but yeah, I have to say it's not that easy to answer that question.
I would mandate for a model which includes different aspects. How often need to recommend them so that others start to buy the champagne you like? Or are you always using the vouchers they send and waiting for them? So these different criteria, you should qualify, let's say, even someone who's doing a purchase himself as a good customer, because he's referring all the time to people who should do a purchase. So it's a quite interesting question, how to model the customer lifetime value properly. Now, we are quite in time, and Moritz had a very good idea, and those two guys did a little present to you, or at least to some of you. Before we go and have a break, I would just announce that we have a very interesting presentation from Oliver afterwards, explaining us some stuff about data science. Then a debate between Zilla and Oliver. So I would say that's then the next round of really hardcore data science experience. Looking forward quite a bit. But in the meantime, they have hidden, I don't know where, under the chairs, a few vouchers. So if you chose your chair well, maybe you can have a voucher for the compliments. Thanks a lot for your attention, and see you after our break.